Hey guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys joining me for today's video. And guys, you may or may not have seen it, but yesterday I did a really long on-the-water jerkbait video with my wife Kim. We went down to Table Rock Lake and filmed one. And today, guys, I want to share a few clips with you all, if you haven't seen some of this stuff, about the jerkbait trip we did yesterday and some of the lessons that I was trying to teach you guys about fishing jerkbaits in the wintertime. You guys hear me talking about this a lot. I love fishing jerkbaits, and the winter time, it's a different time of year in terms of how you want to fish one. So some of the clips I want to put in today's video is going to really give you guys some good clues if you haven't caught many fish on a jerkbait in the wintertime. And when I talk about the wintertime, we're talking about water temperatures between 40 to low 50s, something like that. So we're going to get into that in today's video here. Also, guys, thank you very much for everybody to take time to hit that subscribe button here to the Fishing Teacher or take advantage of our memberships. Really appreciate that. And also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that has continued to support the channel by using and bookmarking my tackle warehouse link in the description of every video. If you've been doing that to purchase your tackle, thank you very much for me and my family. We appreciate that. Okay, guys, here's a few clips I want to add to the video here. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to get a little comment after we get done here. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, guys, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the baits and how you want to work a jerkbait for wintertime bass fishing. And then after that, I'm going to get out on the lake here and I'm going to show you the type of areas that I like to fish. And there's quite a few different type of places that fish get in the wintertime that you can catch them jerking that don't involve forward-facing sonar, just traditional bass fishing. But first of all, let's go over the baits and the tackle and how you want to manipulate this bait, because cold water bass, their mood and their behavior is different than other times of the year. When you got water temperatures in the 40s and 50s, the metabolism of the bass changes a little bit. They're not like a snake or a turtle where they get completely dormant, but they do slow down a little bit. And how you want to work a jerkbait has a lot to do with the combination of the water clarity and water temperature in correlation with each other. But the baits I want to use are pretty key here. It's going to make a big difference in how many fish you catch. First of all, the only thing I use is Megabass jerkbaits. You guys know that. I helped design the Megabass Vision 110 back in the late 90s. I do not use the 110 in wintertime fishing. This is a 4.5-inch standard size jerkbait. But the ones that I use is I downsize in the wintertime. Now this is critical to catching bass in the winter. And there's two different ones I use. One is this Megabass X80 Trick Darter, and the other is the Megabass X Nanohan Plus 2, which I forgot the box, but I'll just tell you what it is. These are finessey jerkbaits. They're a little over 3 inches long. I'll link both of these guys in my tackle warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to pick a couple up using my link there. But you want to go to a downsized jerkbait. The combination of the slower metabolism, the colder water temperatures, the general mood and the personality of the fish, you'll get 10 times more bites on a finessey bait like the X80 Trick Darter by Megabass than you will a full-size one. Let's say, for example, we both went fishing, and one of us has got the Megabass 110 on, and one of us has got the X80 on. Whoever's got the X80 on in the wintertime situation is probably going to catch 5 times more fish than on the 110. Now this is especially important as the colder the water gets. Once that water temperature gets down in the 40s especially, and especially if you've got clear water, like water visibility over 4 foot, that's when the finessey jerkbait is going to work. Now, you couple up this with light line. One of the big keys on it is you got to go light on your line. I use 6-pound test Seagar and VizX fluorocarbon line, and I use a spinning rod 100% of the time. Megabass medium action, 6'11", and just a good quality 3000 series spinning reel. And the purpose of this, and if you guys have heard me talk about jerkbaits a lot, you can manipulate a jerkbait and you can put action on a jerkbait with a spinning rod that you cannot duplicate on a bait caster. The biggest advice I'll give you guys for jerkbait fishing in the wintertime or any other time, never use a bait caster. Go with a spinning outfit 100% of the time. I can promise you guys, if you're out on the water lesson with me and you use a bait caster and I show you how to use a spinning rod, you'll be begging for a spinning rod by the end of the day. You can just do so much more with the bait. Okay, now we're gonna get up there. I'm gonna show you exactly how to work a jerkbait for wintertime bass fishing, so let's go try that. Okay guys, now I'm going to run through the whole system on how to work a jerkbait for wintertime fishing. Now there's a couple other things before we get started I want to really reiterate. First of all, it's very important in the wintertime that your jerkbait sinks. You don't want a jerkbait that floats up, and you don't want one that suspends. You want one that slow sinks. So the way you do that, you can either put some suspend strips on the bottom of your jerkbait, or put maybe a little bit larger hooks. And I like it to sink probably about, I don't know, a foot every 10 seconds, just a nice slow sink, because what that does is it allows you to control the depth of the jerkbait, and it acts as like a wounded dying shad sinking instead of floating up, which is really critical. And then also, guys, make sure when you're using a spinning outfit, never use your drag. We talked about this before. You need to learn how to back reel like this, because what happens is if you get a bass, it's like hooked by one barb of the treble, you can put a minimum amount of pressure and you can control it a lot better with back reeling than you can with the drag. So just learn to back reel. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is, it's very critical in the wintertime to get the maximum depth out of your bait. So how you do that is a combination of your casting distance and the light line. So I've got 6-pound test line, and I want to make sure that I make the longest cast possible, because by getting the cast longer, it allows my bait to get down deeper and stay deeper longer, which is the sweet spot. Now, on any jerkbait cast, you have a sweet spot of about 20 to 30 feet where the bait is at its deepest part. This is when you're going to catch your quality fish. So the longer cast that you make, the longer you have in the sweet spot. So I'm going to run you through how I like to fish it. So first of all, I'm going to make the longest cast that I can, and then I want to get the bait down. Now, when I want to get the bait down, I'm jerking it harder than I'm going to be working it. So I jerk it about 8 or 9 times, 8, 9, 10, something like that. Now, after I've jerked it about 8 or 10 times, the bait is down pretty close to its depth that it's going to be. So once it's down there, I'm not going to jerk, pause. I'm going to pop it just gently like that, let it sit, and then I'm going to vibrate that rod tip. Just look at my wrist right here. See how my wrist is vibrating? It's actually, I'm vibrating that line on a loose line. And I do that for maybe 8 or 9 times, and I'll pop it gently like that, let it set, and I'll vibrate it again like that. Let it set, pop it again, vibrate it like that. And I'm paying close attention to my line, because most of the time the strike is going to come when you pop it down like that, or when it's setting still, you're going to see your line just tick with it. So let me run through that again. I'll run through it as more of a real world cast here. Long cast. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just let it set for just a little bit. Shake it a little bit. Pop it. Let it set. Vibrate it a little bit. Pop it. Vibrate a little bit. Pop it. And that's my cast for the wintertime fishing. Now, I'm going to repeat that throughout the course of the day. And sometimes you may have to slow down a little bit. Sometimes you may have to speed it up depending upon the mood of the fish. If you have colder, more off-colored water, say for example that water visibility is about 3 feet and the water temperature is 45, then you may have to slow it down more. And if it's cleaner, say the water's like 4 to 5 foot of visibility, water temperature is closer to 50, you don't have to pause as long. You can speed it up a little bit more. So that's how we do it. Now let's get out there. I'm going to show you what to look for, the best jerkbait structures on the lake here. This feels like a pretty good fish. Pretty heavy.
Is it? What do you think it is?
It's either, this is either a big one, or if it's a foul hooked on one of the two.
Oh.
There he comes up. Man, this feels like a nice fish.
Do you have a net?
Man, it's heavy. I can't bring him up. It's super heavy. Oh, it's a foul hooked one.
Oh.
Oh, it's still a nice fish.
Yeah.
guys, that's that Mega Bass X80 trick darter I was telling you guys about. Nice, really nice solid tournament fish there.
About how big was that one?
Probably, I don't know, 3 1/4 or 3 pounds.
Oh.
Hey guys, here's another quick example of what I'm talking about. Good example of what I'm talking about the submerged timber in a lake. Now this is submerged timber you can see right here, coming to about 15 to 20 foot from the surface. Now if you see this on your 2D sonar anywhere on the lake, make sure you try to fish that jerkbait over the top of this submerged timber. You see this tree right here? It's growing out of about 45 or 50 foot of water, coming almost to 15 feet from the surface. This puts it in a perfect depth zone for a jerkbait, because that jerkbait we're fishing today is going to be running about 10 feet, and those fish will suspend at the top of these trees. So anytime you see something like this, make sure you try that jerkbait over the top of it. Okay, here's another one of my favorite wintertime jerkbait locations, and that is a channel bank. Now this channel bank can be located on a creek arm or main lake, and what identifies a channel bank from just a regular rocky bank is the proximity of this bank to deep water. Now, right here, we've got a steep bank, steep rocky bank, 45-degree angle, maybe even a 60-degree angle. You got the creek channel right here. Now, this would be a good area. A lot of people would throw like a crankbait parallel to this. This is an excellent type of a bank to fish a jerkbait on. Now, what I do in this particular situation, again, it depends on the water clarity. I'm going to get my boat in anywhere between 10 to 20 foot away from the bank here, and I'm going to make long parallel casts straight down the channel bank here, and I'm going to target sort of that 8 to 20 foot zone. You know, if the water clarity is like it is right here, 4 to 5 foot clarity, these fish are probably going to be in 15 or 20. But these channel banks are just like we talked about before. They're like highways that these fish move up and down. They don't get a lot of pressure, and just cover water, parallel these things, and just fish every one of them you see. And most of them, most channel banks come to a point at some part. You can see up there, way up there, that's a point, and that's going to be a high percentage area, but don't overlook just these straight sections of channel banks like this. Another really good wintertime jerkbait location, if you have them on the lake that you fish, is boat docks. Floating boat docks like this, especially if you've got some clean water that have some depth under it, is a really good location, because the bass will love to suspend underneath these docks in the wintertime, especially on the outside here. Now, the thing that I do here is I position my boat just like this to where I can get a long parallel cast down the outside, the very outside face of that dock. I try to get that jerkbait as deep as I can down the face of that dock, and those fish will suspend anywhere between 5 to 20 feet underneath them, depending upon the water clarity. Now, these are especially good if you have cables going off of them, because a lot of these docks, they're connected by, well, you can see when we get up here, you can see this cable here. They've got cables that are connected to big, heavy concrete boulders that sort of keep them in place here. And a lot of those times, those fish will like to suspend around these cables that go down. There's the cable, you know, apparatus you can see right there. But boat docks can be really good places for the wintertime. Okay, guys, just a few highlights there of the jerkbait trip we had yesterday. Let me give you guys one piece of advice that we covered a little bit in the video. If I can give you one piece, if you want to become a better jerkbait angler, the best advice I can give you guys is get rid of your bait caster outfit. Do never, ever, never throw another jerkbait on a bait cast reel. Go to spinning equipment. Spinning equipment will allow you to get better action out of the bait. It gives you more feel. It gives you more finesse. It gives you more options on cadence. You can throw the lure farther. You can fish lighter line. You can fight the fish better. There's no reason to use a bait caster. Anybody, I don't care if they won $50 million in fishing tournaments, there's no reason, you know, if a pro's using a bait caster for a jerkbait, they would catch more with a spinning outfit. The only reason they haven't is they haven't taken time to learn it. So one piece of advice, guys, go to spinning tackle, and it'll really help you guys out. So anyway, we'll check in later. See you guys later.